Hey guys, got another special one for you today, and this one is on Xtrons, and this is actually one of their flagship head units, which has 6 GB of RAM and 128 gigs of ROM, which makes it the high-spec 7-inch Android head unit I've ever tested. Let's check it out. So I probably don't need to introduce Xtrons. It's one of the most well-known Android head unit brands in the world. Now this one has 60 GB of RAM and 128 gigs of ROM, which makes it the most powerful 7-inch Android head unit that I've ever tested. But it's definitely high spec, and it's going to make it a good competition for the other 7-inch Android head units that I've reviewed, like the A-Toto and the TIs, etc. Now I'm going to take this opportunity to remind everyone that I don't get paid to endorse any companies or products. And my review of this product today is going to be completely based on my own opinion and experience with it. And with that in mind, let's get it out of the box and have a look. And here it is. Now the first thing that you're going to notice is this is a standard double DIMM form factor. Now if we have a look at some of the other ones that I've looked at, it's like this Xtrons or this A-Toto here, they are double DIMM faced, but the actual body of them is not, and there are some issues with sizes that can cause issues when you're fitting them into cars, depending on the cars that you're putting them into. But one thing for sure is, with head units like this, it's an absolute pain trying to get them to fit into a cage. But with this particular head unit, because it is a double DIN, which is exactly like a big brand like this Kenwood, it means that it is going to fit straight into a cage, and that will make things nice and easy to install. So Xtrons, well done, thank you very much. This is a very, very nice design of head unit, and yeah, keep making them like this. On the front here you have capacitive touch buttons on the left hand side, along with a reset button and a micro SD card slot. And then if we flip it around, you have the main loom entry point here. You have a 4G antenna input, a GPS antenna input. It has a FM antenna input here, and then you have the other various connectors, which I'll go into in a bit. So also in the box you get a GPS antenna, 2 unmarked antennas, 3 USB ports, a reverse camera input, and then we've got a loom here which has 2 video inputs and a video out. Then we have a amp trigger wire, the external microphone input, and then we have the pre-outs. So you've got front left, front right, and a separate subwoofer. This loom also has a 4G SIM card reader, so you can pop a SIM card in here and get it online. No external mic though, unfortunately, but those are cheap enough to pick up on eBay. Now I did get some additional stuff with this head unit for the install that I'm doing. You have to buy them separately. This is the dash cam DVR. I've got the DAB stick and antenna. I've got the tyre pressure monitoring system, and I got the HD reverse camera. Now if you want to know how to install the head unit and all of these accessories, I'm going to do a separate video showing how all of that is done. But for everyone else who just wants to see how this head unit performs, keep watching and I'll show you now. So here it is, installed in the Saab 9.3. Guess how much modification I had to do to the dashboard to get it in? Nothing. And the reason for that is because it is a standard double DIN size, and it goes into the double DIN cage, and it's as simple as that. Really, really easy. If you want to see how I installed this unit, go and have a look at the other video where I install it in this car and I show you how to do it. Right, let's see how long it takes to boot up. Okay, the ignition is now on. Okay, so it's booted straight into DAB radio, which I will turn off. Now it is instant on because obviously it has memory from the last time it was booted. I last switched it on yesterday. So as with the majority of decent Android head units, it will have an instant on functionality. So from a look and feel perspective, let's start with the way that it physically looks. It looks like a generic Android head unit, to be honest with you. It has the capacitive touch buttons on the left hand side, which are lit in whatever color you choose to have them lit in. So the screen itself isn't that fantastic. Remember, this is an Xtrons premium head unit. It has got some good specs elsewhere, but the screen itself is still only 600p. Okay, that's not really that bad because it still looks pretty sharp. And I have said previously that you don't really need much more than 600p, but it does make a difference in some cases. And the other thing about the screen is the contrast ratio isn't great. And what I mean by that, you don't get the real definition that you would get on, for example, a QLED screen, which you get on some other premium units. But again, the image is fine, it's easy to see, and it works. Now the touchscreen itself is very responsive, although I have noticed when you're trying to press buttons around the edge, it takes a few goes to get it, but that might just be because I've got fat fingers. But other than that, it functions really well for what it is. Now moving on to the dashboard, you have three main icons at the top here. You've got a speedo with a clock, you've got navigation, and you've got Bluetooth music. Now if you touch where it says kilometers per hour, it will change to miles per hour, which is obviously going to be much more beneficial to me because I'm in the UK. And with the navigation app, you can choose which navigation app opens. Obviously I would go for Waze because that's my application of choice, and you have Bluetooth music, and if you swipe you get HD video so that you can view videos on your SD card or a USB stick, whatever. DSP opens the sound controls. Car Auto plays for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and then you can go into the rest of the apps on the head unit. So fairly self-explanatory. And then down here you have music, which opens the local music player for music, MP3s, etc. that you might have on a SD card or on a memory stick. Bluetooth, and then you have the radio, which basically looks like this, which is very basic, as with most Android head units, and obviously there are apps that you can use to make that look a bit more pretty. So let's talk about speed. Well, this unit does actually have a Snapdragon 665 octa-core processor, and it has a massive 6 GB of RAM as well. So 6 gigs is the most RAM that I've ever tested in a 7-inch Android head unit, which makes this the most powerful Android head unit of a 7-inch screen that I've tested so far, which is cool. So what does that do for speed? Well, let's do the normal test, opening Waze. There we go. It's definitely one of the fastest loading times for Waze, so that's pretty good. And then we try Spotify as well, because this is one of the most used apps. And there we go. So you can see that it is almost instantaneous. We're dealing with a very capable device when using it in full Android form. So yeah, really, really happy with those. And obviously, you can see as I'm swiping through it and doing different things, it's reacting very quickly. So yeah, from a speed perspective, happy with it. It's really, really good. Now from a features perspective, Xtrons have done really well, and this is where Android head units really come onto their own, because the manufacturers don't just create the head units, they create a lot of accessories that you can buy and attach to them, which gives it far more functionality, and the whole point of this is to give your car more features. So this head unit has 3 USB ports, and I'm using them for different Xtrons accessories, which I'm going to show you now. So if you go to high definition app here, you can see that it's currently connecting to the DVR, which is behind the mirror, and you can see the front, out the front of the car. And then if I just hit this button here, you're now looking out of the back of the car. So this has a front and rear DVR functionality directly on the head unit. Awesome. Then of course DAB, one of the Xtrons USB sticks to actually get a DAB radio in the car as well, so that's nice and easy. And then they do the tyre pressure monitoring system as well, which I haven't currently set up because I haven't installed the sensors in the wheels yet, but the fact is it's capable of doing it, which is a really, really awesome feature. And then you have the big stuff which everyone wants, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which comes with the unit as standard. So the way that we deal with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is we connect our phones to the head unit using Bluetooth. So what I'll do is I go to the Bluetooth icon here, and I will search for a device. And there's my Galaxy Note. Bluetooth pairing request, I think the password is 4 zeros, so pair. And there we go. So now we have our phone connected to Bluetooth on the head unit. And then all we do is wait, because the Z-Link app will automatically start, and there we go, it's connected to my phone, and I can access my music, and my maps, and then all of my other apps which are compatible with Android Auto, which is absolutely great. And then every time you get in your car, it will automatically connect. And this is completely wireless, so your phone can be in your pocket or whatever, and it's just going to connect to your phone if you want to use Android Auto. And it's exactly the same for Apple CarPlay. So for the iPhone, go back to Bluetooth, we go to search up here, and there's Stuart's iPhone, so we select that and connect. So it's appeared on my iPhone, 0000, pair, it says it's connected on here and it's connected on there as well. It's gone straight to the Z-Link app, connecting. The phone says use with CarPlay, so I say yes, I do want to use with CarPlay. And there we go. So now we have full Apple CarPlay as well. Now let's talk about vehicle integration. So there are certain things that I find very important. The first is how easy is it to install in the car. Xtrons scores very highly in that regard because of its standard double-din nature. It just fits into a standard double-din cage, which is part of the kit that you get with the majority of cars. So really, really great from that standpoint. Very easy to program the wheel controls. So what you do is you go into the settings, scroll down to the bottom, go to car, and you've got steering wheel keys, and then you can literally press a button on the steering wheel and then program something on the screen itself. So it makes it very, very easy from that standpoint as well. And then if you go into Element allows you to change the color of the capacitive touch buttons on the left hand side, which means that you can get them to match the color of your car. I'm in a Saab. Saab has green lights, so I have green lights on my buttons on my Xtrons unit, so that's cool as well. Now if you are in a more modern car and you want to integrate it with your climate controls and such, that is actually possible by going into factory settings. The password is 126. If we head over to the camber section, you'll see that you can go to Canvas Select, and then you can select the Canvas company, which is basically what is the brand of the Canvas decoder that you have. So maybe it's a Raise, and then you can choose which car you have. So maybe you have a Ford, and then there's a few different options, Ford Mondeo, Ford EcoSport, Focus, etc. You just select one of those and it's going to set the canvas for that particular car, and that means that you're going to get climate controls and other features are going to appear on the screen of your head unit, so it's properly integrating it with the system. So it's great that it has this. Personally, I would have liked to have seen Xtrons give their own sort of take on this, like some other brands have, but the fact that it's there is great. Now you might have noticed that there's car logo up here as well, and now unfortunately this is where Xtrons hasn't done a great job. Again, this is really a very basic Android interface. You can't just choose from a bunch of car logos, it doesn't exist. You actually have to put a car logo from your computer that you've downloaded onto a memory card, stick the memory card in here, and then basically navigate to it, and then you can sort of load it up there. So it does give you the option to put a car logo on this system, but it's a ball ache, right? So now we've come to sound quality. So what we look at is the DSP, which stands for Digital Signal Processing, and this is basically how we manipulate the sound to make it sound the way that we want. On very, very cheap Android head units, it can sound really bad, it doesn't give you a lot of control, but with these premium units, with the DSP, you get a lot of control over the audio, and you can really make the car sound the way that you want it to sound. So if you have a look on the screen here, you have a 15-band graphic equalizer, which is great. If we go to the effects tab, you can see that it has a loud mode, but you can actually control loud mode specifically for the low frequencies and high frequencies, which is pretty cool. You got a fat effects mode, we got frequency cutoff mode, and then we have a bass boost mode. Now this will allow you to boost the bass, but also cut off frequencies as well if you need to do that. Also on this page you have the sub control, which would control the output of a sub that you would have connected to one of the RCA pre-outs. Then we go to sound fields, and this is your generic fade and balance, which is controllable with the touch screen. And then under settings, you have some more advanced features. So with the fader mode, you can actually increase the decibels, so the volume of individual speakers within the car, to make it sound exactly as you want it to. And then over here, you can actually change the speaker distance settings manually as well, if that's what you want to do. So it does have quite a bit of control over the audio, which is really, really cool. And how does it sound? It does sound great. It sounds really, really good because you can actually set it to sound exactly as you want depending on the speaker system in your car. So this car has a stock sound system and it does sound very, very good indeed. Right, let's give you the rest of the scores now. Hope this video was useful for you. If there's any questions that you had that I never answered, please ask them in the comment section below. The same if you want me to review any particular head units that I haven't yet done, please ask in the comments and I'll see what I can do about that as well. Please subscribe to my channel if you like my content, and obviously give my video a like as well if it was useful for you.